Welcome to Markets Today with me, Lukman Haris. The big news of the day right now is the second quarter GDP of Malaysia and also its economic performance for the period. Earlier today, Bank Negara announced that the GDP for the second quarter grew 5.8% compared to 5.6% in the first quarter and also exceeding most expectations. And here joining me on the phone to discuss this further, all the way from Cyprus, Jamil Ahmad, Chief Market Analyst at Forex Time. Jamil, what are your thoughts on the GDP figures reported earlier?
So this morning, what we've been looking out for is the Malaysian GDP data, and it's been released and it came in very impressive. It was another Malaysia GDP reading above expectations. On an annualized level, the Malaysian economy grew by nearly 6%. It was 5.8% over the second quarter of 2017. This is another very strong reading. We're not that surprised that there be expectations. Reason for this is because the Malaysian economic data as a whole, when it comes to major releases, so we look at trade balance, imports, exports, over the past couple of months, has been very good. It's beat expectations, which is why we had this gradual optimism that the Malaysian economy would beat expectations again for this quarter. And we're seeing this. This is the second quarter in a row that the Malaysian GDP has beat expectations. It's very good news, and it goes to show on the ground the local economy is still performing. It's still one of the most emerging economies in Asia, and still showing some very strong growth levels despite what is, and nobody can doubt this, is a very uncertain external environment when it comes to geopolitics, external factors, oil, other emerging market influences such as US interest rate policy. Overall, we will now look to see if this data can continue over the course of 2017, but we do think the Malaysian GDP will be revised higher as a whole for this year. One thing I just want to touch upon is the Malaysian ringgit. We have said for a long time that the local note is very much oversold and undervalued when it comes to economic performances. Such data, such as today, proves this. If it was due to the domestic economic news itself, the Malaysian ringgit would appreciate by another 4 to 5%, in my opinion, over the remainder of 2017. Now, unfortunately, the currency is not just tracked to local fundamental news. There's external factors such as geopolitics, US interest rate policy, and other external factors that can affect the EM currencies a lot. Now, this might be what puts a cap on the ringgit gains, but it's still undervalued at this point in my eye.
All right, thanks, Jamil. That was Jamil Ahmad, Chief Market Analyst at Forex Time. Now, let's move on to the next story. Serba Dynamic will develop an integrated industrial, commercial and residential project with a gross development value, or GDV, of 1.4 billion ringgit. The project comprises a new industrial park called Pengerang Eco Industrial Park, a new commercial centre called Pengerang International Commercial Centre, and also a new residential development called Pengerang North Shore Residence. And with me to discuss this further is Dato' Abdul Karim Abdullah. He is the Group CEO of Serba Dynamic Group, and also Dato' Dr. Muhammad Shafi'i Muhammad Sanib, CEO of Perisin Samudra. Dato' Shafi'i, we can start with you. Can you just share with us, first of all, what is the size of this development?
The size of this development is around 62 acres. It will be built in an industrial zone in the land under Perisin Samudra and Izin Budi, Sdn Bhd. And of course, Serba Dynamic will be the main developer for it.
What will be built first?
As far as we look at the scenario, Serba will want to capitalize on the operational startup of Petronas Refinery in Rapid, Pengerang. So the turnaround village and of course the MRO center will be the main impetus for them.
And of course, Perisin Samudra is the landowner of this particular development. Can you just also share with us how many people will be involved in this whole development from start to finish?
We are looking at up to a maximum of about 3,000 people, professionals, skilled and semi-skilled. And we are looking at peak, it will probably go up to about 4,000 people.
Can you go probably a bit further into how this project can benefit the local community there and also the local economy?
Well, if you look at Serber Dynamics' track record and their ability basically to be the catalyst for this type and size of project, it's very important that they enhance the add value in terms of technical expertise, in terms of transfer of technology. At the same time, we'll create more jobs through many components that will be built in the project. So actually, we like to say that people of Pengerang will benefit a lot through this project, actually.
I know it's a bit premature, Dato', but in terms of jobs, do you have a target or a number as to how many jobs you wish to create from this whole development?
Well, the development will take a few phases. It will go on for maybe about 5 to 6 years. So I think starting point, we're looking at about few hundred jobs immediately, and then as we go along, can be up to about 3,000 to 4,000 people.
And out of this total, in terms of percentage, how many percent do you look to allocate specifically to locals and how many to foreigners?
Well, in Johor, we always look at threshold about 25 to 30% in terms of participation. So I hope that will be the number that we can achieve. And hopefully we can bring a lot of the Johorian talents to this project and have them to be part of this very ambitious and adventurous project. And I do say that it's a good project to have, and it will grow in nature along the years in future.
And I think that one of the most important question on everyone's mind is, when is the delivery of this project?
As I said, the project will be done in phases. So we're looking at phase 1 to be completed within the next 2 to 3 years. The most critical path is to ensure that the facility is ready when Petronas Refinery is on board, in operation, and at the same time to cater to the next stage, which is the Petrochem area, which will be completed about 6 to 12 months from once the refinery is in operation.
All right, we'll come back with Datuk Muhammad Shafiee Sanip and also Datuk Karim Abdullah to discuss further on Pengerang Integrated Development. Markets Today will take a short break. We'll come back. Don't go anywhere. Welcome back to Markets Today with me, Luqman Haris, where we are discussing the Pengerang Integrated Development in Pengerang, Johor. And I've been speaking to Datuk Muhammad Shafiee Muhammad Sanip, CEO of Pricin Samudra, and also Serber Dynamic CEO, Datuk Karim Abdullah. Maybe we can move on to Datuk Karim. Datuk, for Serber Dynamic, why is it so important for you to be involved in this particular development?
Gentlemen, firstly, thank you for having me here today. It is very important because it marks a new phase of positionings of Serber Dynamic into the industry, in which this particular project has the necessary component for us to showcase our technical capabilities. Among others, it has a component, what we call it as integrated MRO, Center of Excellence, and it also has another component inside there, which is Integrated Inspection, Repair, Maintenance Center of Excellence. All these components plays a very important role in our technology drive, and also to convince our prospect and client that we are a company with the necessary capability and technology. And these particular developments of this project prove what we are telling the world at the moment.
To what capacity is Serber Dynamic involved in this development? What exactly are you providing, and what exactly are you sharing with Pricin Samudra to develop this project?
This is part of what we call it as an asset ownership business model that we are developing, in which we will come in to acquire certain assets or the value of the project. In this case, is talking about acquisitions of the land, and we built up the facility, and that facility will install in the necessary technology which I mentioned, which is creation of this global center of excellence. I would also like to mention another thing, that Other components which is very important inside here is this facility is to support repeat project under the leadership of Petronas. When it is up running, they need the backup in terms of support for the maintenance nature of capability. So to fulfill this kind of requirements, there is where another component inside there we built, and also we set up what we call it as a plant turnaround village to support this intention, and also which is really needed to the repeat once it is up running.
Well, another interesting component of this development, Dato, is the Pengerang North Shore residents. What is the market that you're targeting with this particular development in terms of residents? Is it the local market or maybe foreign buyers?
It is a combination of both, because if we look at the developments over there, the industry progress is running very fast. But if you look surrounding around there, there are still a lack and shortage of residential facility and residential houses, in another word. So looking at this particular vacuum, we put in this initiative to build this kind of facility, because if the facility is not there, nobody would want to also come into work, and it would jeopardize our Center of Excellence that we are going to set and build up.
All right, thank you so much, Serba Dynamic Group CEO Dato' Abdul Karim Abdullah, and also Perisin Samudra CEO Dato' Dr. Muhammad Shafiee Muhammad Sanib, for discussing with us about the Pengerang Integrated Development championed by these two companies. And that's it for this episode of Markets Today. Send us all your feedback on all our social media platforms, Facebook, Twitter and Instagram at 501 Money. Download our app, as you can see, available on Google Play and also the Apple App Store. I'm Haris, thanks for watching. Have a nice day.